Blockchain technology company Ondo Finance recently announced a partnership with NYSE-listed banking giant JP Morgan and on-chain finance platform Chainlink to create 24/7 conversions. Well, joining me now with more is Nathan Allman. He's the CEO of Ondo Finance. Nathan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's walk through what this partnership is going to mean for the DeFi space.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking a step back, we announced a transaction where an investor used tokenized bank deposits from JP Morgan to subscribe to the tokenized treasuries that we offer on public blockchains. These tokenized treasuries provide investors with the ability to transfer value 24/7 globally, peer-to-peer, while earning yield on their savings. And we provide 24/7 conversions between stablecoins and tokenized treasuries. So this is a product that has appealed largely to crypto natives and to investors that come from stablecoins and want access to treasuries. But until now, the product has really been largely inaccessible, or its benefits have been inaccessible to investors that don't come from the crypto world, that don't already have stablecoins. So for example, folks who have bank deposits at JP Morgan. And so, once this rolls out to production, it opens up the ability for deposit holders at JP Morgan who might not already be holding stablecoins or have crypto wallets to very easily 24/7, over the weekend instantly subscribe to our tokenized treasuries or, tokenized products from us or others more broadly.
Interesting. So for those who might not understand it, how is this going to help JP Morgan and Ondo clients? What more can you share there?
It really provides the opportunity to combine the benefits of what we're each doing with blockchain. So on the Ondo side, we're focused on expanding accessibility of financial products and services using public blockchains. Stablecoins are a great example of this. They expand access to the dollar. There's $200 billion worth circulating today. And then on the JP Morgan side, they've been working on driving efficiencies and cost savings to existing institutional clients through the use of permission blockchains. And this transaction is really the first time that permission blockchains and public blockchains come together and can interoperate. And so we can start to combine those benefits of enhanced accessibility that we espouse at Ondo and that public blockchains enable with some of the cost savings and efficiency gains that JP Morgan and private blockchains are focused on.
Just in layperson's terms, how important is that yield that someone would get, right, by parking their money somewhere in this equation?
I think it's incredibly important. I mean, it depends a little bit on the use case and the audience. I mean, stablecoins, when they're, very briefly held, when they're used as a means of payment, it maybe doesn't matter so much that holders are not earning yield. But, once you start using them as a long-term store of value, as a means of collateral, especially if we're talking about institutional market participants who, are sensitive to, things like getting the interest on their money, then it starts to matter a lot more. So, stablecoins have gotten a lot of product market fit by focusing on that more, retail customer that really is so desperate just to get access to the dollar. But as the target audience becomes more institutional and more focused on some of these other use cases like collateral, I think yield is going to become, table stakes.
So what does this problem solve?
For us, I mean, global accessibility to the dollar and to treasuries. And then in the case of this actual transaction, connecting that to investors that are not crypto native.
Yes, that is the problem that it solves. Thank you. So I know you recently attended Consensus in Toronto, Canada. What do you see on the ground there?
Just tremendous excitement at the growing interest from institutions in crypto, both on the ETF, ETP side, and then also in tokenization. There's been a lot of talk for years that institutions are coming to the space. There's been a lot of proof of concepts and pilots, particularly from asset managers and institutions that are not as highly regulated as banks and broker dealers. But, with this new administration, it seems like there's been a real sea shift in the attitude that institutions have towards the space. And, even more highly regulated institutions like banks are engaging more directly. So, the excitement around that is very palpable.
Yeah. What do you think is next here in this partnership?
Well, this was a test transaction. It was still a proof of concept in some respects towards a production rollout. So we're looking to roll out to production when Ondo Chain goes live later this year. Yeah.
Okay, and we so appreciate your time. That's Nathan Allman. He's the CEO of Ondo Finance, joining us in studio. Nathan, thank you.
Great. Thanks so much.